This is BAIT, life outside the Federal Witness Protection Program. A very dangerous way to exist.
Skinhead, deadhead, everybody, gun bad, situation, aggravation, everybody, allegation, innocence on the news, everybody, dog food, bang bang, shot dead, everybody, gun bad. All I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
The Office of the Director of National Intelligence Inquiry for my son Adrian. Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of War Crimes Unit. Nice to see ya. All right, before I get into the reasons as to why I have spent all of my day constructing this, I want to read it to you first. Now, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and I have been in contact without help from the Senate or the House. So that would be very, very important in this case of fraud and garbage. So I am thinking that they may be the most appropriate people, the most appropriate government agency at this point to address this issue. So here is my letter to United States Senator Jeff Flake, United States Senator for Arizona. And the subject line says, regarding hostage in Iran. So it says, Dear Senator Flake, I have directed foreign governments and the International Criminal Court, ICC, where to find this information in the event of a successful kidnapping or murder of me, the mother of missing child Cyrus Adrian Safavi, hereafter referred to as Adrian. Therefore, this letter serves as my last request to Congress to stop engaging in criminal negligence concerning a special needs minor child not actively involved in hostilities, but rather one who has been forcefully displaced by the government for criminal use. In other words, wrapping my son within a plea bargain, assaulting and trafficking him, losing him in a foreign country, and working in a conspiracy to cover it up is not okay. Due to gross criminal negligence cross-spanning many states and every federal government agency in this two-decade disaster, with a heavy emphasis on misconduct and brutality in law enforcement and the legal system, I feel that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence would be the most appropriate agency to answer to a Senate inquiry on this matter. The inquiry should include the name or names of people who conducted his major assault and who authorized it. Any reasons known as to why his major assault case was never legally prosecuted in Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada. Any reasons known as to why he was not placed in the Federal Witness Protection Program. Any reasons known as to why he was not placed in the Victim of Crime Program. His current location and status and who authorized it. A description of interference in daily activities, medical care, services for a special needs child, legal proceedings, and who authorized it. A status report on his rescue and recovery, if in fact any effort is existing at all. The events and motive that led up to Adrian's family on my side, and a number of my friends to be forcefully displaced or murdered, status update requested, so that no other individual would remain to act on Adrian's behalf in my absence. absence referring to murder or kidnapping. Let's see. Continuing on. Additionally, the United States runs a high risk of being sanctioned by the United Nations for violations of treaty related to terrorism and human rights. Criminal negligence by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Nevada in 2005, criminal negligence by the U.S. Department of Justice in 2010, and criminal negligence by the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Texas in 2011 is simply not my problem. Also, I feel that the letter I received from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Houston, Texas, addressed to my Phoenix, Arizona address, sent to me by email, was highly misleading and done to lure me into that district for criminal intent based on the Texas didn't want him back conspiracy. The evidence throughout the state of Texas speaks for itself. If you could remind the American people, you could remind the Justice Department through the Senate Judiciary Committee that their duty to the American people is to prosecute criminals, especially terrorists, and not to misuse provisions under the law to cover up for their friends, it would be appreciated. If you could remind other members of Congress not to utilize their congressional power to open up federal investigations, intentionally not protect whistleblowers from retaliation, then use people who are already victims of horrific crimes for such investigations in order to delay prosecutions of government employees, that would also be appreciated. Case example. In the summer of 2010, Chavez Folger, a staff member for Senator Harry Reid's office, told me that they opened up an FBI investigation. Since then, there is a nationwide trend of situations and people manipulating and intentionally pushing me towards the FBI, while at the same time they are violating me and launching an attack to take out other victim witnesses, including minor children. First evidence of that was my son's half-sister and her mother. I'll have a hell broke loose. Anyway, continuing. Doing as such, especially in a situation already legally evaluated by DHS ICE as being within the purview of the U.S. Department of Justice, is a major criminal violation under international law. Quite simply, if the FBI in Washington, D.C. was without knowledge of the crimes their agents committed, ICE should have been automatically allowed to obtain federal jurisdiction. Then ICE and the Justice Department could have told the FBI what happened through arrest and prosecution. Additional related cases. Concurrently with this legal matter, I sent the state of Arizona's legal response titled "The State of Arizona and Governor Janice K. Brewer's Answer and Counterclaims within the case styled the United States of America versus the State of Arizona and Janice K. Brewer, Governor of the State of Arizona in her official capacity, to the International Criminal Court, ICC, via email, as the allegations against a population appear to fall within their jurisdiction. Within that case, terrorism and illegal immigration is referenced as being contributory to the crime of domestic violence. While duty to protect citizens claims to fall within the purview of the federal government, it is more apparent that the federal government is discriminatory selective on who they assist. Compounding individual cases is a territorial state jurisdiction issue, as victims and criminals may be scattered throughout many parts of the country and move frequently. Hence, all the more reason exists for the federal government to take responsibility in these matters, yet for the last 20 years they have failed to produce effective results. While the state of Arizona has the power and financial means to create, enforce, and legally defend their own laws, especially when the federal government fails, victims of horrific crimes such as Adrian and myself do not have the same resources. Subsequently, victim dependence occurs within a state or federal government agency who may not be able to help due to lack of ability and or is not willing to help due to reasons of police brutality, aggressive measures, and political corruption. Without full legal resolution, victim protection and victim services for those not actively involved in government or political hostilities, risks of harm to victims and families can escalate to the point of genocide, a crime within the framework of the ICC. Given that I am the last known core witness alive as of the date of this writing, and the ICC already has the information on Adrian, dead or alive, I've already won. Intriguing is how the ICC will handle other conspiracy cases of America's forced displacement of children and murder of witnesses in the future. Conclusion. Related to the federal inquiry, I'll be working in the emergency room and the intensive care unit at local hospitals saving lives, while the government comes up with every kind of excuse under the sun as to why they continue to be aggressive towards me in many ways and by and through human trafficking. Continue to work in a conspiracy surrounding Adrian's major assault, interference and forced disappearance, and what appears to be an act of genocide towards my family and other innocent people, while at the same time enabling and assisting illegal aliens and known terrorists. I look forward to reading and reviewing the federal inquiry from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. I expect it to be very colorful. Sincerely, me. And then I also reference my recent short story publication that you can get for 99 cents. It talks about the Texas didn't want him back conspiracy, my son's father's criminal charges that were never prosecuted, and lists witnesses and so forth. You can read that on Amazon Kindle. The title of my little short story, like I said, it's 99 cents. It's called Genocide, America's Love Affair with Al-Qaeda. The 20-year saga of a man ICE can't deport because of everyone else. I mean, so get that little short story and help a girl out, because literally I've spent so much time on this and I'm so far deep in the red based on a bunch of crap, based on 20 years of government crap. But here's the thing. Okay, I think that I should be getting regular updates on my son from somebody, right? See, and I'm not. Okay, now you know what? Now I try to look at this objectively, and I try to say to myself, okay, can somebody not do this for reasons A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L? Or are people just being assholes? You see, both could be true. Okay, but somebody within the federal government should be telling me about my son and giving me updates on my son. And and like I said, I try to really, really look at this objectively. I know there's new people on this case, I realize that, but at the same time, I should be getting answers. I'm not getting answers. What am I getting instead? I'm getting a bunch of retaliation. So when I see me getting a bunch of retaliation this way, and I know on a 10-year trend that I get punished all the time, every time I try to go after my son, I have to wonder what's going on. Okay, you see? So the quicker that I can push this issue, first of all, the better off the kids will be. Provided the fact that, provided that they're not already dead. Okay, right? Okay, so the better off the kids will be. And then also the quicker that it could be legally resolved in some manner or another law passed or whatever it may be, the more chances there are of this not happening to other children? Because I mean, it's like totally makes me sick. You know, every day I sit here and think about what has happened to my kid. I know these guys are assholes, right? I know these guys are assholes. Apparently they've been doing this for years. Assholes. And so I know they're doing it right now as we speak to other people. I know they are. I can feel it. So if I can somehow put a stop to it, if I can do that, you know, help one kid, you help all the kids, right? If I can do that, then that would be, you know, better overall. Because, you know, out of all the cases that I know, and I know a lot of these cases, I've probably come closer than anybody else in America ever has. Any everyday person has, right? Okay, because you know what? It is a little strange. It is a little strange for me to have like a full hand of cards like this, right? Okay, it's very strange. Strange for me to have letters from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Okay. I'm like living homeless on the streets on the beach of Santa Monica with no money, no cigarettes, no food. But I have a letter from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Okay. All right. Anyway, might as well do something with these letters. Okay, and that's, you know, and I'm probably the only person in the United States of America. I mean, hopefully I'll go down in some kind of history book somewhere for this. Hopefully. Probably the only person in America that has ever taken their own government, United States government, up under international law, without the help of a foreign country or without the help of the United Nations. Apparently that's how things are usually done. Okay, I tried the UN Security Council in New York and I got blown off. Right, I tried that. Don't ask me why the UN Security Council didn't do more. I don't know. I sent them, you know, I think at that time all I had was Elliot's letter. ISIS. You know, I just can't believe that the ombudsman for the UN Security Council didn't ask me more questions. This is a rather big letter there, Miss Kimberly. So I found that strange. I mean, one would have thought, you know, especially given the fact that they're in New York, one would have thought that somebody from the UN, after seeing this, might have wanted to know more rather than just sending me an email back saying, we don't have jurisdiction. Really? Really? Okay, like this letter, right here, I got a much better response. See? Okay. I don't know. I can't answer for the United Nations Security Council. But, you know, I did have better luck with the UN, another UN office. We'll see. We'll see what they do. I mean, we're talking this is back in 2010. Sometimes it's hard to get to the top of the food chain. This is a very, first of all, it's a very complex case. And I spend a lot of time studying it. And my goal is to try to address some of the issues that I even think other government agencies are having, such as the situation with ICE versus the FBI. So that's why I said I really, really tried hard to study this and try to hit it in the right way for Congress. And you know what? Why I think I'm getting better, you know what? We'll just have to see how effective this is. We'll have to see how effective. I don't know. I keep trying. I get so pissed. You know one thing that makes me so mad is that Congress, you know, in other cases, such as the Boston Marathon attacks, such as the Fast and Furious scandal into Arizona, it was like automatic. It was automatic. I've had to go through all kinds of hell with Congress. I mean, I went through all kinds of hell with Congress just to get Senator Harry Reid's Las Vegas office to send up a one-page summary. You see, I mean, you know, I had to end up going, you know, I remember Senator Harry Reid called me. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not explaining things right, you know. Okay, maybe I'll have to get, you know, Attorney Randy Roski involved. And I had to go back to Attorney Randy Roski and stuff. And, you know, that's like, big case, though. Big case. And a lot of government mishandling. But it definitely seems like Senator Harry Reid's office should have been doing more. Okay, I did not talk to Senator Harry Reid. I've actually tried to get a hold of him personally. I have not been able to get a hold of him personally since after he called me after I got back from Washington, D.C. and raised hell with some constituents. Okay? Have not talked to him. I've only talked to his staff member. So, you know what? Like I said, I even try to remain objective on that issue as well. It's hard, though. Really, really, really hard. I mean, I think to myself, perhaps maybe Senator Harry might be disgusted in the fact that, you know, I'm facing all this retaliation, and like, does he know that all these people are missing? I mean, he used to do organized crime cases in Las Vegas. You see, he wrote a book called The Good Fight. I used to have a couple copies of that. The one on my Nook and the one on my original copy got swiped. But so this is hard, though. It's very hard for someone like me to reach the top of the food chain of these government agencies, and this case is so big that this is where this needs to go. Like I said, I'll keep trying. Now, please comment to this video. Let me know if the situation, if what I read to you, let me know if it makes sense. If it does not make sense, or if you think that it's just not clear on something, you know, let me know. I'll redo it and I'll send it off to Congress again. Anyway, that's tonight's episode of War Crimes Unit. Keep your stun gun or machine gun handy. There's real criminals and terrorists out there, ones that the government knows about, especially the FBI, and chooses intentionally to do nothing about anything. I'll see you next time.